Hey, welcome to another episode of Chad Sports Talk. As you know, my name's Chad. Take a dive into sports. And I do apologize for not making these videos these past couple days. I've had some other issues I had to take care of, and they kind of averted my attention to getting these videos out. So I would have done a college football recap video going over Alabama versus Georgia, and what an epic game, especially that final quarter was. Hats off to Georgia. We're finally knocking off Alabama, winning the first title since 1980. Kirby Smart becoming another a list of former players at that university winning at their alma mater, especially Steve Spurrier for Florida, Phil Morrell, Tennessee. So hats off to Georgia and all that for knocking off Nick Saban. And so this one, I just kind of want to get back into the swing of things of these kind of what-if scenarios. This is a video I've seen floating out there before, and somebody actually asked me if I was going to do one like this. So once I was asked this, I started, processing it and come up with like 4 different versions. So what if college football was a promotional based system like you would see in European Soccer League, especially if the English Premier League and all the other leagues over there in England, and how it would look like, how it would operate. But before we go any further with this one, if you could go ahead and smash that thumbs up and give me a like, especially like the content I provide and provides you any type of entertainment value. And please, YouTube guys, helps promote this video. You can already there. You can also subscribe. Check my analytics. I've loved y'all reviewing my work, which I love y'all for doing so. Not many of you subscribe. This costs you a dime. It helps me provide more entertainment value for you. All right, let's go ahead and just dive right back into this. One thing I want to just kind of float out there: this type of system would not work at all, especially with Division I athletics, because of all the television contracts going out there. As you all know, the FBS has a lot of television contracts, but all conferences have. So the big money, there's too much money involved with TV for this to really transpire. And then not to mention, how the different athletic requirements differ between FCS and FBS schools, and especially those just moving up from D2, D3 even up to Division I. There's a lot of things you have to go through in that aspect. So this is just really just a fun type of what if thought experiment type of situation to kind of look at this. As I stated before, I've seen a couple of videos floating out there how this will kind of work, and this is just my take after a few tries going over this, trying to make this work. And so I kind of developed, a 4-tier system, as I labeled 1A, 1AA, 1AAA, 1-4A. But the top two, 1A, 1AA, be classified FBS schools. They're all could be part of the college football playoff. Hopefully that they get in talks of expanding that, and then they're all eligible for bowl games. But being 1A, you get more of the top end bowl games. So the Rose or the Gator, Citrus instead of then the 1AAs would get more of the Idaho Potato Bowl, New Mexico Bowl, Hawaii Bowl, things like that. And then your AAA 1-4A. That's your FCS. They're all part of that 24 school playoff. Everyone already has automatic qualifier with that, so there's already 10 seeds. But you probably see more of the 1AA or 1AAA get more of the at-large bids because they're quote unquote a little bit bigger schools. Almost every conference was considered. The only one that I did not touch was the Ivy League due to their strict 10-game season and no postseason. So I took them out and kind of shut them away. They'd be kind of classified as the 1-4A in this type of format, I guess you can say. And I also got rid of a few conferences as well. The ASUN would not be taken off, so that got scrapped. I got rid of the Patriot League and the Northeast Conference. Since, like I said, the top one is going to be a 14-team conference, and then your remaining 3 are base 12 with the bottom one, the 4, a little bit different. And then one conference, I rebranded the Conference A, and I called them America West, just because just where they're at. They're no longer a U.S. based conference; they're more regionalized. And then most of these conferences are kind of kept the same. Some things that I had to look at with the FCS schools, and when I developed a 3A, 4A, was stadium size. First was region and then stadium size. So it was kind of some powerhouses you probably see in the 4A that shouldn't be in there, just because of where they normally play their home games. And then some of those are in 3A that shouldn't be up there, but that's what the whole regulation system's for. And I'll just concentrate on one region, because basically the regions are broken down to is like an east, west, north, south, and central. And it's kind of went in that direction. So I want to concentrate, on the west, and then you guys see how it's kind of broken down. So basically what I'll do, I'll take the bottom two of the top three groupings, so the 1A, AA, AAA. The bottom two will be those being regulated to move down. And the top two of the 1AA to 4A will be those being promoted. So you'll kind of see, I kind of put up here the graphic, kind of what I kind of expect. This is from the west, so your top will be the Pac-14, followed by the Mountain West, Big Sky, and the WAC. The Pac-14 is basically what you will probably realize that most of these are the normal Pac-12 schools, minus Colorado. I put them back in the Big 12. Spoilers. And then filled it up with San Diego State, Boise State, and BYU. There's like the big three right now out the west, and that you would normally associate it being the top. And that's Pac-14. As you see, the bottom two in the Pac-14 is Stanford and Arizona, which would be regulated down to the Mountain West. Now the Mountain West, after losing their top two schools, had to fill it in with UTEP and New Mexico State. Okay, no problem. So Utah State and Fresno State would be promoted up into the Pac-14, while bringing in Stanford and Arizona. Now you still have that Stanford, California game. You still have the Arizona State game, so that's no issue. But now you have Utah State in the same conference as Utah and BYU. Now they're all conference games. And then here you also have UNLV and New Mexico State being regulated down to the Big Sky. Now the Big Sky, this is where, like I said, this is kind of stadium size kind of dictated some of these in the Big Sky. Of course, I have Montana State, Idaho State, North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Weber State, Northern Arizona, and Cal Poly. And here, North Dakota State, Montana State get promoted up. Surprise, surprise, these are the two teams that finish off in the FCS title game. And North Dakota State has won a multitude of FCS national titles, but never mentioned in becoming, being asked to move up into an FBS conference. Hello, Conference USA. This is the type of school you need to survive. And this would actually, help these schools out that do extremely well. Like I said, North Dakota State has been a powerhouse since they moved into FCS level. I think it's just a matter of time before they finally make it to FBS. And, how many times have we said New Mexico State is just out of their league right there? Maybe them joining Conference USA will help them out, but you're throwing that one. And regulated here will be Cal Poly and Idaho State. So the WAC, like I said, it just happens just to be stadium size. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of schools out west. So I had to kind of find a few kind of help out. So the WAC will have UIW, Eastern Washington, UC Davis, San Diego, Tarleton, Portland State, ACU, Northern Colorado, Utah Tech, Southern Utah, Houston Baptist. Originally, I had St. Thomas in here. But since Texas A&M Commerce will be starting this upcoming season, I'll go ahead and move them in and shifted St. Thomas out into Ohio Valley, the North region, so make that one a 13-member conference. And then here, if you look at Commerce, Tarleton, and Utah Tech, see they're highlighted different color. These schools would not be eligible for promotion until the quote-unquote year you see there. That's when they become eligible for it. So for Tarleton and Utah Tech, it won't be till 2024. Texas and Commerce will be 26. But you'll see the two being promoted out of the WAC would be UIW and Eastern Washington. UIW had a fantastic year. So definitely praise them for doing that. So they'll be the oddball. That Big Sky is the only Texas school there. So they're a little out of leagues. But something up there. And also, quick look at how they broke down the other ones. Like I said, most of these conferences, I try to keep the core of the original together. Like for the Big Ten, they no longer had Nebraska, so they put in Notre Dame. As an Irish fan, I've always said they belong in the Big Ten anyways. So it really fits in with that mold. The Big 12, Big 14, depending on how you label this one. Brought back all the original members and then brought in Houston as well, the future Big 12 member. As we got rid of West Virginia, and that made no sense. Speaking of them, they end up going to SEC. They're kind of help replace that, as well as getting Louisville out of the ACC into more of a conference that's more of their fitting. ACC, after losing that one member, just grabs UCF. Another team's already been moved up anyways. So basically, you see that my 1A is pretty much your Power 5 programs. You just spread out between the 5 conferences. And then 1AA is pretty much everything you already currently is in what's left of the FBS without adding James Madison, Jacksonville State, and Sam Houston, who will be moving up. And then here you'll see different schools being called up. So now you'll see Sam Houston be pulled up, Jackson State, Florida A&M, getting a couple HBCUs up there in the FBS level. And I try to keep most of the a lot of those conferences everyone's kind of very familiar with, like the SWAC. I mean, some of these conferences have been playing for a very long time. But yeah, that's just basically, the system. Like I said, this will never work. The television contracts alone will block this. There's just too many things to kind of look into this one, because if, you just say Oregon had a bad year, they fall out. Now they're going to have the same money because now they're no longer in the pack. Now in the Mountain West, and the Mountain West gets a little less money in TV deals. And then that's the whole reason why this would not work. If there's no television deals, maybe this could actually play off. So that kind of allow schools to get, recognized for doing extremely well. North Dakota State, and really trying to help schools that are struggling like UMass to maybe not be a little bit, drop them down to kind of see like to build themselves back up. It's not really a plight against certain programs. Because if you look like at the English Premier League, like Crystal Palace for a while was not in there, and then they had to go back down, dropped a couple levels, and they came back up into the Premier League. So it's just one of these things that you have to get the right personnel, right leadership in there to kind of coach these players to get really good. So once you get really good, you can recruit more players. It's a whole system like this. I mean, it's what helped out. Now, in this day and age, with the NIL and transfer portals rules being relaxed, like I said, this system will not help them out at all. Because say USC gets dropped down to the Big Sky, you think any of those big time recruits would go there? No, they will leave quicker and go to our like crosstown rival UCLA or even San Diego State. I mean, so what, there's a couple things in here that would not work. So that's just kind of for sake of argument. TV deal is a non-factor. Transfer portal rules get a little stricter. So you got to at least play 2 years before you start thinking about moving. Hey, just let me know what you think. Like I said, this is just like a quick little what if thoughts experiment. And like I said, it'll never work because of TV contracts and the current system going into play, especially transfer portal rules it lacks and NIL and the different budgets between these schools. But yeah, there it is. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What else you want me to cover? I got another one that got brewing around that kind of like a geographic / regionalization of both FBS and FCS schools. We'll have that one coming out probably a little bit later. Want me to do next? While you're there, make sure you like and subscribe. Once you subscribe, you can hit that bell notification until next time I post a video. And I'll see you next time on Chat Sports Talk.